Happy Tuesday. It's time for Tuesday Tips. And today I want to talk to you about the power of visualization. It's something I've realized while we are here in quarantine, while there's no end in sight, we don't know how this is going to translate when we can all go back to our ways of living and operating and interacting with one another. I think the hardest thing about this, aside from not being able to see some of your friends and family and loved ones, is that we don't have things to look forward to. And I'm not saying that to be a downer by any means, but I think that's the one thing that keeps us moving, whether it's looking forward to a workout class or looking forward to a girls' night or looking forward to going on vacation. We may not be able to do these things now, but that doesn't mean that there's not a future ahead of us that we cannot look forward to. And that's where the power of visualization is so strong. I think there are a lot of us feeling uneasy about this whole situation. Naturally, we all are. I mean, there's a lot of unknowns and uncertainties, but it doesn't mean that the world is over. It doesn't mean that things won't ever get better. So I'm here to remind you of that. And I want to take a moment because I've said this before in different ways in different Tuesday tips, but your brain truly believes the information that you feed it from your own thoughts. And when we create these stories in our head that may not be true, in the situation with this pandemic, we may be saying, we don't know how we're going to end up. Maybe we won't have a job after this. Maybe all these terrible things are going to happen. That instills fear in us, and our brains believe that to be true, where that really may not be the case. That may just be one possible outcome or storyline that could happen, but it's not promised to us. It's not a fact. So that is why the power of visualization and thinking about the future and visualizing the outcome that you want, the success that you want, the joy that you want to feel, the way you want to be able to interact with your loved ones and your friends and your family members when this is all over, picturing that is so very powerful. So I want us to take a moment. You can close your eyes and just do this with me. This may feel uncomfortable, it may feel awkward, but I want you to close your eyes and just visualize this all lifting, because it will. Visualize the moment that you interact with your friends and your family, and how does that feel? And then think about coming out of all of this, and maybe what are some things that you have learned? How do you want to show up better for yourself, for others, for your work, your career? Maybe you want to make a career change. What would that look like? What would the ideal situation look like to you? Maybe you cannot wait to travel, so think about some vacations that you might take when this is all lifted. Again, thinking about positive thoughts. Positivity, we should continue to feed ourselves with that and picture it and feel it and get excited about it, because when we can get excited and add emotion to all of this, and I realize I'm talking to you with my eyes closed, but I hope that you're watching this with your eyes closed, picturing the future. So you have something to get excited about, you have something to connect emotions to, you have something to propel you forward and something to look forward to. That way, it's going to make all of this seem semi-permanent and very temporary, because in the grand scheme of things, we've been here for 2 months. Those 2 months are such a small, tiny piece of our lifetime. And while it may feel hard, I'm not undermining that at all. There's a lot of different anxieties. Everyone has a different situation. Maybe you're working, maybe you're not. Maybe you have financial struggles. Maybe you have a loved one who is sick. All of these things are not our forever. So people will continue to heal. The economy hopefully will continue to move in a good direction. We can find jobs. We can do all these things. Eliminate all those worries right now and just think about your future and visualize yourself being happy and taking on new adventures and being able to live a life the way you want to live it. This is a time to pause and reflect on what may or may not have been working in the past and think about how you want to change that in the future. And having this visualization and holding on to this moment when times feel tough, taking you back to that space in your head, that is something that no one can take away from you. So I have my eyes open now. I hope this makes sense. I want you to think about all of the things that you want to bring into your future when this all lifts and when we all go back to whether it's a new normal after this new normal or life as it once was. Obviously, a lot has changed, so not everything will be the same. It can be that much better if you allow yourself to see it in your head. So that is what I want to share with you. The power of visualization for anything in your life is so important to help you get there because you're helping your brain see that it's possible. And when you see that it's possible, you figure out a way to make it happen. And while you may have some limited resources and potential right now, you can start to think about how you want to show up for yourself and for others in the world when this all lifts, because it will. Happy Tuesday.